This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's talk about Ole coming back. He comes back as Booker, and it's reported that on March 23rd, Flair was supposed to lose the WCW title to Lex Luger at a house show in Chicago. They even have a film crew come along. Lance Russell is there. Chris Cruz is there. They're supposed to be covering the event. But allegedly, according to the rumor and innuendo, Flair vetoed it and said that he wasn't given enough notice or time for this. What do you make of this? Do you remember this being the case, that Flair vetoed the title switch?
I think he apparently did. It didn't have it.
No, it did not happen.
No, it didn't happen.
Do you think, you said a minute ago that you didn't think Lex was political, or maybe to his detriment? Did he have an issue with Flair not wanting to put him over? Or
he might have got there, Conrad. I'm sorry. He may have gotten there to that point because it happened
a lot.
Yeah. And maybe Lex didn't have the experience or the self-confidence to articulate his opinion. But golly, man. Yeah. I don't know exactly where they were on all that stuff, but I think that probably Nate got some heat on him for that from some of the guys. And some of the younger guys are saying, is there ever going to be that top spot going to be available for somebody else to try to get over? And but it's hard to make an argument, a negative argument about Flair, because he's the greatest of all time. And that's what you got with that deal. He was the greatest of all time, and in that era, he was Flair should have been the baby face.
Yeah.
Flair should have been the baby face. And then the young upstart Lex Luger, bigger, stronger, younger, blah, 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 could have then had his position in his run. And you get Luger a series of good wins. And at the final, you get into these single matches with the Horsemen. And finally, the old bounty type scenario where we got to put this son of a bitch out because he's coming for Nate. And that's our bell cow. It could have been so easily booked. But the politics just kept going back and forth and back and forth. And it just kept being more diluted, watered down. It wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. And it didn't help the company. When your main title is so tentatively booked, short-term booked, doesn't make any sense.
Well, we know that Ole was not a big fan of Flair's, and we also know that Luger had a little quote unquote heat. That's the rumor backstage based on his contract value. How much of those two things do you think played into Flair wanting to dig his heels in? The fact that Ole was back and he knew that Ole was not a fan of his, and the fact that Luger supposedly had one of the richest contracts in wrestling, and maybe Flair took issue with that.
I don't know that Flair was making less money than Luger. Are you under the impression that Lex was getting paid more than Rick?
No, I don't think so. But I am saying, if he thought this guy's got the big contract and now they want to take the belt off me when I quote unquote made him, I ain't doing that.
But why wouldn't you want to do that?
I don't know why. I'm just saying, I'm trying to guess.
No, I'm with you. I don't know either.
Yeah.
Because Rick would know that he's going to get it back.
Right. Of course.
And so you have the chance to make somebody to that next step. I think it would have been the way to go. The arrogant young Lex Luger heel beating Flair works for me in that particular era. It's either that or you need to just let Lex go, because you've already devalued the shit out of him. So if you're not going to use him, then, and you're going to pay that big money to keep him, for what?
Right.
He's got to be in the main. It's a salary structure that you've established for him. You're almost obligated as a company person to make sure that Luger is being utilized so that he has the best chance to earn his downside guarantee. And I don't know that happened that often for Lex, at least for that length of time.
Let's talk a little bit about what's next. Unfortunately, it's bad news for Luger. He's got a serious injury issue. It's going to lead to a staph infection. He's going to come off all the shows until the big pay-per-view, where once again, he's in the main event against Ric Flair. But next verse, same as the first, Luger wins, but by DQ, the belt does not change hands. Now, here's what makes this even more complicated. This DQ win happens in a damn steel cage match. I mean,
I know. It's ridiculous. They kept looking for ways to take the cheap out, and now they're going to whore up the cage scenario.
Right.
Makes no sense, Conrad. It's just, the more we talk about this, it's like when cumulatively, when all these points that you're making, and they're it's all historic, it's all documented. You know, the more you hear about it, it's like, what were we thinking? And this is wrestling politics at its very, very best. Ole's a booker. He doesn't like the champion. The champion doesn't want to lose his place. And the guy that's kind of the third guy out of this equation is a challenger. And so I don't know. It's amazing that I can see why we were not drawing any money and that we weren't doing well in WCW in that particular point in time.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.